on the joy of liberation of samadhi. Okay, the initial verse. Bodhisattva practitioner distance themselves from the 5 desires and all afflictions. And the keyword I just want to talk a little bit, it's this word distance. We all know what these 5 desires and afflictions are, but the distance means you can be near, but yet you can be far. So let's contemplate on that word. They cultivate contemplation and concentrate on the Dharma. The contemplation and concentration on Dharma. I will come to those words, they're very, very tricky words. Contemplation, concentration, and meditation. I'll come to that part in a later slide. Practicing earnestly, diligently, and sincerely, they seek realization of the Buddha Dharma. Now, you may recall that some time back that I shared with you about when you listen to the Dharma, your intellectual capacity of your mind can know and understand. Beyond that, you got to know beyond your intellectual capacity. So that can only come from realization. And this is what it is, seek realization. But sometimes realization cannot come by just, most of the time, in my principle all the time, cannot come from knowing and understanding. So it's come from non-thoughts. So this is the teaching of samadhi, wisdom, and liberation. Why samadhi? Because samadhi puts you in a mind or rather state of non-thoughts. And it's only then you can gain realization. It's only from realization you can wisdom. It's only from wisdom you can have liberation. So this flows through that. So as the Master's explanation, the 5 desires are found in external conditions. So found in external conditions, and you all understand all this, and in the practice and the condition, or rather in the condition practice. So that's why going back to the initial words here, distance themselves from desires and afflictions. So we are in practice. You live the worldly life. So how can you then distance from that? So long as you got a life, you have to live in the external condition. That's why the word distance is not an easy word. From that context, it is you're going to remain far yet near. So we must contemplate and consider in the Dhamma. Master said, cultivating contemplation is meditation. Concentration on Dhamma is samadhi. So now, some of you may be aware that I come from a contemplative order. This comes from the Kuan Yin contemplative order. So all my practice revolves around contemplation. Meditation opens the door to contemplation. Okay, but you need meditation to go into contemplation. So I'll leave it at that. But concentrating on the Dhamma is samadhi. It's samadhi because you need to still the mind in the non-thoughts. Then, only then, that moment that you can gain realization and without the Dhamma in which you are contemplating. So gathering wood and carrying water is meditation. We can practice meditation in our daily living. It applies to everything. This, I put out these words on bold because there was a Zen quote that I used to remind me every month. And the quote is very simple. Before enlightenment, I chopped wood. And it was given by, I was a Zen master. Before enlightenment, I chop wood. After enlightenment, I chop wood. I find that so profound. And I used to remind every month, and I put it as a reminder. So we must honestly contemplate our role as spiritual practitioners, contemplate every word that we speak. Just as I was referring to this point, this word here, just distance in itself. It's profound, because how can one be far yet near? So all these words in the teaching and the Dharma, all you need is only one keyword, and you can gain a lot of realization. Some realization of the truth will unfold to the next. So having sincerity, integrity, faith, and steadfastness. Now all these four virtues here, as you know, refers to the four. I must use these four virtues to refer to the four bodhisattva vows that you use for your internal cultivation. So this is the which then Buddhist to the teachings of precept of upholding of ourselves. So it's internal cultivation. Samadhi is internal cultivation, and so is wisdom. And at the end of the day, then the liberation of the mind. So in the three realms, within the three realms, affliction, worries, and suffering are raging with fire. So long as they're in the three realms, even in the heaven, they're still raging with fire. So Master has said that the three realms are the states of our minds. So even though that one have everything going their way, it's still raging with fire. And obviously it goes without saying, those one who is suffering. And our desires, our perception of conditions and ignorance and afflictions in our minds are the realms of are akin to the three realms in our minds. So therefore, unless you get rid all this, the raging fire will still be there. So it's only by practicing the Buddha's teachings and understanding the principles are we able to be liberated from here. So by practicing the Buddha's teaching, because practicing is about applying the teachings and to have faith, to walk the path. And practicing will gain you experiential learning. And this experiential learning that arises from there is the highest step of learning, but there's still other steps of learning that we all have to go through. And all these steps of learning will eventually gain you the insights that Master also mentioned today, insights of the teachings. So the Buddhas hope that everyone will be able to live in a state of samadhi and liberation and be peaceful, at ease, and be happy. So contemplative learning, meditative concentration. This is concentration and insight on non-dual state of samadhi and wisdom. I extracted all these words from the obviously from the transcript. And what do you mean by meditative concentration? You see, in meditation, when you go in the state of meditative mode, you would have be still in your mind, and you concentrate, because when you concentrate, you bring your thoughts back. So these two words are somewhat paradoxical, conflicting with one another, because when you concentrate, it's hard to meditate because you're using your mind. So the difference is this, and this is probably is a very good way of describing what is contemplation. And I think it's hard to describe this unless you're in that state, and if you are able to be still and get into this state of concentration into the Dhamma without the arising of thoughts, that's meditative concentration. It's the unity. Is the unity of concentration and insight, and because at that point in time when you do that, is where the downflow in spiritual insights will come. Or the non-dual state of samadhi. What does this mean by non-dual state of samadhi? The non-dual state of samadhi is that it doesn't flux between one state to another state. So if I use the context of what Huinan gave the example of the leaves in the tree which were moving. Some say the leaves are moving. Some say the wind is blowing. But Huinan say it's the mind which is moving. So when the mind is not moving, this duality does not arise. So between pleasure and pain, for example. And so when we are in the state of a conditioned practice, there's always a line, there's always a boundary, there's always a partition between one and the other. And that is a duality. And that explains why our mind will be in a flux, because they're always in a state of duality. So when you're in a non-dual state of samadhi, and that is a moment of that stillness that it doesn't move. I'm not sure whether I've adequately given you some explanation there, but this is what it is. Samadhi comes from concentrating on the Dhamma and cultivating contemplation. It is a state of concentration and insight, which I just explained earlier. So unless you gain the insights, and those insights are the realization that you will get. So and I call them spiritual insights. And one level of that spiritual insight is what you call inner knowing, because that inner knowing is realized from within you. Okay, but the higher level of that knowing is called intuitive knowing, and from inner knowing to there's quite a number of levels that one has to go through to reach that level. So if we can take on, obviously, because in the normal state of our mind, we have a lot of scattered thoughts. So these scattered thoughts you can bring back to one place, and it's then a state of that is the state of concentration and insight. So now it's interesting, isn't it? You look at this line, say, if we take all the scattered thoughts and bring them to one place, I think a problem that I think a lot of people commonly would do when these scattered thoughts arise, they fight with the thoughts. So when you fight with the thoughts will fight back, because you're giving energy to a thought. So the moment you give an energy to the thought will not go. It will not abide to one place. And this is what it is. Obviously, this one takes a lot of practice to do that. Then we can be in a non-dual state of samadhi and wisdom. And obviously by that time, that moment of the non-dual state and the stillness, where the mind would not flux between the two states. So samadhi can be translated as contemplation, investigation of an object. And this is another interesting word, investigation of an object. If you remember, Master, some weeks back, if you recall, spoke on the 4 bases of fulfilling powers. Okay, the last of the 4 bases of fulfilling powers, if you recall, refers to investigative wisdom. Okay, so then you go refer back to your notes. This is why it is necessary to be in that contemplative mode and samadhi for you to be able to practice in the 4 bases of fulfilling powers. So if we can cultivate contemplation, concentrate, this method of samadhi, concentration and insight, when we see things and make decisions that people matter so much, objects, our minds will no longer be scattered. This is called one appearance. So this is an interesting word, isn't it? Interesting words, isn't it? One appearance. What is this one appearance? It's about the oneness of all. So the lessons learned. These merits of one appearance and one kind are the foundation of sentient beings' virtue. And this can give rise to unsurpassed Dharma joy. Why is it unsurpassed Dharma joy? Because if you in a state of one appearance or oneness, and one kind are all foundation sentient beings' virtue. One kind, that means there's no distinction, there is no differentiation at all. You'll be, I think it was just yesterday, right? My master spoke about impartial wisdom. And impartial wisdom, that's the one that gets you in the state of unconditioned practice. And that at moment in time, that's what I mean by the unsurpassed Dhamma joy. So the merits of one appearance and one kind are the merits that we have attained through inner cultivation and outer practice. So the inner cultivation that I just covered through this four virtues, if you remember, that sincerity, integrity, faith, and steadfastness. And obviously the external, part of that, the outer practice would be better for infinite minds, or the four immeasurables of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. So they are the foundation of virtues and the merits of one appearance and one kind. So so it makes a lot of sense, is it not? So that you're in a state of samadhi and you have the non-duality in your inner self. In the internal cultivation and the external cultivation, that you are actually in the cultivation of non-self, right? Because loving kindness, compassion, sympathy, joy is the non-self. So then you got a oneness and a non-self, and there's a one appearance and a one kind. Okay, in the state of samadhi, no matter how people can hinder us, once we have made a decision to help people, we must help them regardless of any external obstacles we may encounter. So these are the merits of one appearance and one kind. Contemplation. I was trying to find one that resonates with today's teaching, and here it is. It occupies one whole page. So contemplation is simple when you know how. Right? Like I said, contemplation is the state of meditation. Meditation is also a state of contemplation. Okay, so but you need to open the door of meditation and go into contemplation. Just as one is supposed to be simple in life, yet many find it difficult to be simple because such is the worldly ways. We have made the world so complicated because we brought it in how we should behave, how we should earn our living, got the rules, got the regulations, or the behavior, so on and so forth, and so how then, and yet when you say, oh, be simple, and yet when you say it's very difficult to be simple. So life is made complicated by man, and one has difficulty now being simple. But it must be simple to be simple. If you are simple, because if we don't understand this, there will always be a duality, and the mind will always be spinning in a flux. It is therefore simple for one who is simple to contemplate. Because when the mind is not distracted by the complexities of thoughts. So which is what Master was trying to explain today on relationship. The difference between peace and trouble is just a fine line. What falls outside the boundary line is the difference. There is a single appearance. There's no single appearance. And there are differences because you are in duality. How can there be a single appearance? So dissolve the line and you'll find the oneness and non-duality. There's nothing you cannot accept. Peace is abounding in the world, yet it is absent in the minds of many. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's all. Thank you.
Gan En, so much, Brother Chin, for the wonderful, marvelous sharing and summary. Yeah. Okay, I think we have come almost to the end of our sharing today. I'd like to invite Sister Tzu Chi to wrap up for today's all the post-in sharing. Yeah, over to you, Tzu Chi.
Gan En, Brother Robert, Gan En, brothers and sisters, for the amazing sharing daily. 真的是 yeah, samadhi. Today, Master's teaching on this samadhi really also a lot of great learning to me. Also, cultivating contemplative contemplation and concentrations. Indeed, yeah, they are. As Master always give us the example. What Huayi. I think I better speak in English. Gather woods and carry water, also meditation. Of course, Brother Lau also mentioned about the dynamic meditations. I guess they are, it's just like the various teachings. They are skillful ways. So long we can be in focus and still. That is a good way to attain the samadhi. But of course, to Master, I always look at Master as someone who is very high level. See, what she's teaching us is like, because while we are entering the masters, we also can attain that samadhi. It does not mean that one have to be in the forest, but if another person's choice is they rather to be in, to go for meditation class, I guess that is another person's choice. So long the person can attain, 都是每个都是一个方便法门啊。But very grateful here because of learning Masters talking about this because I'm not a meditative person. I'm not okay in the sense that I don't think I can really sit down. Monkey mind. I'm very grateful to hear when Master talk about this. While we are entering the masters, we also can have this meditative achieving this samadhi through the precepts we gain the samadhi and we can get the wisdom. Yeah, and the Sister YY, magnifying glass are very focused until like the magnifying glass. Sister Moon and Sister Kaping example of their employer, it so reminded me when I was younger. I think in the 20s after my uni, and then early 30s, I was so grateful. I'm still very grateful. I always meet a lot of very wonderful boss. I remember one of my Singapore boss, every time he encountered issues, he would say these are the happy problems because it can allow us to, break through certain things, and he's never selfish with his knowledge. So I think since very young, and then another boss, but of course the company was in PN7, not so good, but he has a big business and we are the team of accountants helping him with his personal side. So any issues he will bring us and brainstorm. So every time we look at issues, I think it's like now PMO, it's always another way of looking at it. It's never as an issue of problems. It's always as something that can enhance our knowledge then. But of course, knowing Master is another different ballgame altogether. It's totally different because it's a purity. It's no longer a knowledge like my Master said, like the jewelry. So we know all the names, but behind the things that he has destructed the earth so much. So we have a deeper sense of understanding, and within that, while we are repentful for our actions, because we still have to consume, like my house also got furniture, cannot be so bad. Even the house itself also made of all these resources from the earth. While have this repentance over, because have to use resources, more importantly, the state of great gratitude, cherishness. So that when we cherish deeper, we wouldn't have the wasteful manner. So indeed, I like Brother Chin. Yeah, today I learned these scattered thoughts. Brother Chin mentioned bringing it together rather than fighting it. Yeah, I do agree with Brother Chin. Yeah, indeed, I think for us, for me, when I'm working, I have this long list of lists. It's like the mind will be very scattered. I'll do which one first? Because everything looks like firefighting, but then we bring everything together and it's okay. I'll do you first, second you, and then the mind is scattered and focused. I think be it in corporate life or family or whatever Tzu Chi activities, it can be more, we can do it with more peace of mind. Indeed, 真的是这个 one appearance and one kind in harmony. Then all of us can have this stillness in doing Tzu Chi. Master also end up and tell us that asking the Bodhisattva, everyone in learning the Buddha's teaching, we must be focused and reverent in our practice. 真的是 very, very good. And before maybe I end it with one story, I can't recall where I heard it. This brother before his passing, he has this I think long illness. Before his passing, he smiled and looked at the wife and said, "I'm going to see Master. I'm going to see Master." And with that smile, he left the world. So such, I think, is the state of great samadhi，真的是 with samadhi wisdom and liberation，他已经achieve 了常乐我净 the permanence joy, greater self and purity. Okay, back to our brother Robert and the group. 感恩。
Yeah, Gan En so much, Tzu Chi. Wonderful words of wisdom and insights. Okay, before we end today's session, can we take a group photo?
If I may just share while taking the photo.
Yeah, sure.
One of the ways, I don't know, this is just my little practice.
YY, are you there?
It's just my little practice. I know that because today is about bringing the scattered thoughts into one place. I know we all have scattered thoughts. So what I practice is, the scattered thoughts can be anything that is afflicted by the 5 desires, okay? So it can be tham wan la, tham me la, everything la, the 5 desires. So I remember, my daughter last time she was in Ta'ai Kindi, and then she when I go, when I was in affliction, I was so worried about my eldest daughter. Then she would just say, "Mommy, 不要担心，要祝福, just a 4-year-old kid, because my eldest daughter was so sick, and then I was actually tearing up, and then she said, "Mommy, 不要担心，要祝福." So anyway, that's just one example. But now actually, remember the Master say the Bodhisattva path is long, broad, and straight. So whenever my mind go elsewhere, I'll say, okay, come back to this long, broad, and straight. Because the mind is like a monkey. I mean, it's like Brother Chin always say, the sideshow, you see here, then you go there, then you see here. So when the afflictive thoughts and the desire is actually all the sideshows. So if I go one side and then I say, okay, time to come back. Of course, we are not always on the track. Sometimes we are attracted by sideshows, but always remember, come back. So the coming back to me is the scattered thoughts, coming back to one place. And this place is when then you are not afflicted by the duality. Hey, the grass is greener there, I should go there. No, actually, the grass just looks greener. Come back to the path, focus on the path that we have vowed to take. So I think, we're not free from all these sideshows that comes all the time. But just remember, 唔好搭錯車啦，唔好搭錯車. Come back to bus number 10. Okay, all right.
搭錯車都 OK， 我哋有 virtual friend to pull back, so I put my request.
搭錯車 after go round and round.
already pull it back.
搭錯車快啲落車啦 ，OK？
咁有時你唔知你搭錯車嘛，所以你要你個 virtual friend pull 你 back 啊。
Okay. So come back to the path. That's how I bring my mind back, a scattered mind back. All right, just sharing. Yeah.
Make sure you buy the right ticket lah. Buy the right ticket. Okay, then you won't go the wrong plane or the wrong bus.
Right.
Yeah, Gan En to all the brothers and sisters for the wonderful sharing and wonderful insight. Let us continue to gain realizations from walking the Bodhisattva path, applying this great vehicle Dharma. So I think just do it lah. Just do it.
You want to tap 錯車, you will feel the disharmony, you will feel the affliction already. Faster get down.
有時if 你好 strong 咧，你自己會出嚟。有時你唔夠你嘅 strength 係咪？
Yes.
一下 disgustive thought 你一下。
So I'll build a GPS. We need to put a GPS on all of us, okay?
The GPS is also not working.
The device, the GPS
so
device.
You plan your GPS with Wang Xiuqing lah.
No, plan the GPS on the path.
Like my sister Winnie that day, she also talked to our sister Cheng Yen. So each of us 真的是要 be benefactor.
Yeah.
Or like 讀我心 because at this moment I have one very close friend. But 搭錯車 I'm thinking. But I cannot because when the person is in the 錯車, they don't realize it.
It's right.
Thought that they're right. So 我們也是 have to be very, very.
我想講啦, some people just want to go sightseeing. It's okay. Make sure they come back.
我們大家都是 try.
感恩哦。
Okay, Gan En.
Sister Moon, 感恩啊。
Okay, Gan En.
Sister Moon also very good.
Always very applicable sharing one.
Very structured.
Oh, great leaders.
The company, Sister Moon.
哇，他做他的 staff 极好。OK 好。
Oh, nothing to
Bye.
do with the company, small company. It's just age. I'm older than a lot of you, you know.
Wise, always very wise to hear from